Welcome back. Matt Davio at Mistrade Market Profile Trading Academy.com. Want to talk a little bit today about position sizing, and a lot of traditional work that you see out there always suggests don't add to a losing position. And I want to start with that thought. I agree with that in a conceptual matter. The problem I find is most people are stuck in the mindset of a scalper, and that means you have to enter and exit almost perfectly to be successful. As a position trader and a limit trader, which is what primarily we focus on, we look for ranges to sell into. And I think this is a difficult concept for people when they go into position sizing. So when you look to trade, whether it's the ES or crude markets or some of these very liquid futures markets, you want to get into a situation where you're looking for ranges. And that range may be 1 to 3%, maybe 3 to 5%. Whatever the range may be that I'm looking to sell into or sell below or buy into or buy below, I'm always doing my homework in my narrative and setting up these ranges in my trading profile, in my market profile that I'm interested in participating in and stocking. So the nuance that I want to suggest here is that I agree with the suggestion that you don't want to add to losing trades. However, I typically will leg into a trade with the biggest piece of my trade coming near where I'm ultimately maybe going to stop out. So let's say I'm trading the NASDAQ and I'm short 3,000 up to maybe a 2% range of 3,060. I may be lightly into a trade at 3,000, knowing that I need to take some heat on that initial entry, but the bigger piece of my position may be put on near that 3,060 level. So that's only a 2% nominal range, and one way to look at this is if you want to have a leg into the market and be short just a little bit at 3,000, because I don't know if it's going to get to 3,060, but that's a range I'm interested in trading, then I also have to have a foot into the market and be participating. Now in liquid markets, this is not a difficult thing to get your head wrapped around, but unfortunately in a scalper's mentality, you start thinking, well, if I go full in at 3,000, I can't handle the heat up to 3,060, and that's absolutely true. So scalper versus swing position trading are much different beasts, and you have to position yourselves. Sometimes you have to leg into a position with the biggest piece of the position being put on near the top of the range. So that also means that sometimes you don't get a full position on. And guess what? That can work out just fine. So let's say in the instance I sold a little bit at 3,000, I sold a little bit more at 3,020, even a little bit further at 3,040, layering into the position knowing that maybe my maximum size is 20 lots. So I might go 2, 4, 6, knowing that I still have another 8 lots left to sell near that top of 3,060. So when they say don't add to a losing position, consider the fact that the range that you want to enter said position is very important, and how you establish that range looking at the market profile is ultimately the arbitrage that you want to look at. So I do agree with the premise, don't add to a losing trader. However, there are nuances to this. You don't have to be absolutely perfect in picking entries and or exits. And it's the same thing really on the way out as you step out of a trade on a successful trade, on, let's say on the NASDAQ, just like yesterday, in the situation where you are scaling into a position on a short and you're scaling out on the position on the way down, you're taking some off as you go. All this is doing essentially is not only taking profits but raising your ultimate average, and it allows you, again, kind of that accordion, that inhale, exhale to manage the position kind of on a trading around a core position is what I like to call it. So you may be short, but sometimes you're going against yourself, covering some down as it comes in, waiting to sell it as it bounces again. You may be long, looking to buy the dips, but selling it as it rises. This is the way that you really, the professional traders, manage positions. So it is not an absolute game where you're trying to absolutely pick highs and lows all the time, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Don't add to it the losing position, but give yourself a chance. You don't have to be going all in on a trade, especially when you're looking at ranges that you want to play within. So keep this in mind as you focus. Join us here at Mistrade at the Market Profile Trading Academy.com. If you have any questions, just drop us an email. As always, peace.